portfolio. I like what you've done with the apartment ones.
Thank you.
I think they're pretty good. If you're investing in new geos, one of the things that you've done is obviously invest by location, which is good. I'm going to share my screen so you can see what I'm looking at. We can continue talking. Let me go to that. Call share screens. Let me know when you can see my screen. I'm going to enlarge it a little bit.
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, like I said, I like what you've done with the geos. All these have value. Now, you may have to, unless you're aggressive with doing one of two things. One, you can set up lead generation for real estate in each one of these cities, which isn't really that hard to do, and you get a good commission. So I've done it with a real estate person here in my area. And what I've done basically is said, look, we work out a percentage, and I get like 25% of every commission that he sells, but he wouldn't have any of these if I didn't send him the listings. You can go 10% even. It's going to be huge on a real estate commission, because even if it's 15 to 20K, it's a lot of money. It's like $1,000, $1,500 to $2,000.
Yeah.
And some of these are great cities like Buffalo, Boise. I mean, you seem to grab some good ones. Pittsburgh, Providence.
I was watching the EAP in real time, and so I started grabbing them on day 3. But none of the, I got those all before they came to general market.
So what was the price you paid for all of these?
So anywhere between, 5 to, 25 or 3,000 on day 3. That's the donuts. The way the donuts does their EAP, it's graduated. Where day 1 is 13,000, and then day 2 is 8,000, and day 3 is like 2,500.
Yeah. I just did that with the football, and a couple others. So the least you spent on these was about 3,000.
The least I spent on any one name was about $100, and the most expensive was 3,000.
Okay, all right.
But it's interesting when you look at the AdWords as far as search.
Yeah,
they're comparable to the guy who bought 75 of these. Omaha and Lincoln and Portland and Dallas. Las Vegas has more searches than most any of the other names that went, except for Chicago and I think Seattle.
So I've got a good buddy of mine who's got a fair bit of money. I maybe I'll sell Las Vegas apartments to him if you're or Reno or any of those ones, because he's in the Vegas area and he's investing now in domain names. So I can certainly look at that and see what you're asking for some of these, and maybe we can turn it into a sale, or you can sit on them, build something out, like I said, a referral network with all of these listed, and then you can refer people in all those areas. Because there's some pretty good names here, and obviously you picked up some pretty good bargains. So the apartment ones I think are really good. May not think as highly on some of the audio ones you did though. So we'll take a look at some of those. The audio ones, let's see what we got. Discover Audio, that's not bad. Grammar Audio, not so sure on. Lectures Audio, they don't really go together. You could do lectures on audio. Yeah, that one's not bad. Postgame Audio is good. Press Conference, Recipes, they're not bad, but your apartment ones are certainly better for more profit quickly. Your biz ones and your CO ones, these ones I'm going to recommend you either try to sell in the next little while or you get rid of them. They're just, literally it is crap. Crap.co is what it is there.
Yeah.
A lot of these other ones, so Atomic Size, Elfish Names. Are you in Las Vegas?
I am in Las Vegas, yeah.
Okay, because I was seeing more Las Vegas type names. So LVNV, Las Vegas, Nevada jobs. That's not bad. But unless you're going to build a job site, you probably want to.
I had a job site on that, and then Google stopped my AdWords. But I was generating like 50% click-throughs, and they thought I was black hatting, I guess. So at one point, that was a very profitable little niche.
Is it still blocked or something?
It's up. It's got a back feed from Indeed, but it doesn't have Google.
Let me just pull it up and see what I can get on this. Yeah, okay. Yeah, this thing needs a major redesign.
Yeah, for sure.
It's good, but it needs a redesign.
Yeah.
Casino. Yeah, I see what you mean. Okay, but you're generating some good. How much monthly revenue are you generating roughly from it?
Well, I was generating like $50 a day when I had Google Ads and I was getting referrals.
Yeah. Okay, I mean that's pretty decent. I mean, we probably need to look at maybe redoing it and see if we can get a better re-index and stuff. Now, what you should be doing is use another email address and apply for another AdSense account. I mean,
Oh,
I had some that I set up before when they first started, and they closed it down, and I was making like almost 12 to 15,000 a month, and eventually they just shut it down because I was making too much, and it was at a
yeah.
bad time for me where I couldn't do anything. So I just came back home. I was out of town. I came back and opened up another one, and it's been fine since. So
Oh,
periodically they do random shutdowns. It doesn't really mean that it's your site. You can probably even apply for under any site and then just add the LVNV because you can add any site to AdSense once you have an approved account.
right.
So I would do that and get that back up there.
Okay.
Your directory stuff here, you've clearly done some really amazing stuff. So you've gotten a lot smarter, I think, as you've gotten going and learned that really what you want is you want something, and I always say this, you want something that a business could possibly buy, like architect directory,
Yeah.
apartments directory. I mean, these are things that these could be great directories, and you can get advertised, and you can list companies, you can list every type of lawyer for this criminal, civil, family, whatever. Daycare directory, great for reviews.
Yeah.
Dentist directory, also great for reviews. I mean, and
Dentist, dentist and preschool actually I've developed already. Those are live right
let's take a
now.
look. Let's take a look. Yeah, that's nice. That's a nice looking site.
Thank you.
Very nice. What script did you use for this map?
This is it's actually I use brilliant directories for the back end.
Okay.
And this was I've tried a couple different models. This is the one where I took the list of 200,000 dentists and I uploaded about 30,000 of them, and you can claim your directory or not.
Yeah.
And now if it doesn't have that dentist logo on it,
Yeah. Does that mean it's been claimed?
that means they either claimed it or they listed it themselves. There's 5,000 new dentists every year, and so I'm getting about 12 or 15 a month signups without doing anything.
Yeah, that's nice. That's
So
very good. I mean, it's a nice looking site. Where did they go to claim theirs? Like I'm on
um,
this now. Where would I claim it?
you go to right below where your arrow is. Are you a dent?
Oh yeah, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Claim listing. I see it. Okay. No, this is a nice looking site. I mean, you've done. This is a good one. The other one needs development. This one looks good. So
Yeah.
clearly you've done a good job with this script. So your directory names. So are you making money off those listings that are coming in every month?
Those listings I'm not. I'm
Okay.
not. I'm doing traffic. I'm just getting indexed in traffic.
Does the script
Preschool.
allow you to, the script must allow you to charge for listings though, right?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Yeah. So
So
with preschool, I'm making money every month. Preschool.directory.
okay. I mean you have a lot on here that I think you'd make some good I mean orthodontist for sure, OBGYN, nanny directory. I mean there's a lot on here that you could make money on once you get them established, obviously, and you import like you did databases and things like that. But there's a lot of good ones on here that would be good for these. A lot of these look like they're really good to set up a business on, which is what you're starting to do now is to develop some out. I really like what you've done with your new GTLE portfolio. I mean, tutor directory, training directory, summer camp directory. These are really good. Summer camp directory, these are powerful names.
Thank you.
And then you've done some pretty good stuff with even your guides, calculus guides. You've put a lot of thought into which ones you picked up, which is more than most people do. And because you've done that, you've got a higher quality of names on most of these. These are really good new GTLEs. Like even if you have to wait on some of them, you're looking at 3 to 5 years if you don't develop them out for somebody to come to you, unless you do outbound marketing, in which case you can go after anybody and try to sell them Colorado apartments. Any realtor would want Boise apartments, Buffalo apartments. I mean, that's an easy sell for you.
Yeah.
Again, you
So
just got what each one
I,
cost you before you try to sell it.
yeah. So I can sell now for less.
Yeah,
15,000 a name on the powerful ones, or wait 3 to 5 years and get 50 to 100 to more.
yeah. I mean, that's definitely what you're looking at now. I don't know what you've got into this whole portfolio right now, but you've gone after the stuff that typically I would go after. So that means you've hit the GTLDs that I really like. Like, there's nothing better than something like a city with apartments. There's nothing better with something like daycare or bookkeeping or bookkeeper or things like that with a directory. And then I saw you had some other ones. Yeah, private school is a good one too. The guide ones. You've got all the major subjects: calculus, cocktail. I mean, you've got all kinds of people. People would Google this stuff and look for it. Where's some information on? Like, I own homework.ca, and homework.guide is a great one. Grammar guide. People don't know how to use proper grammar. Mathematics, math, small bit. I mean, you've got a lot of really good ones here. These info ones, again, just sell those whenever you get a chance and somebody comes with them. Info's really good on something that makes sense with info, like cancer.info, lymphoma.info, gout.info, and it could be even longer, like heartdisease.info, stuff like that, that people would actually look for information on it.
Yeah.
So those are okay for that. But I mean, gotv.me, I'd probably keep that one, even though it doesn't mean a whole lot, but I think you'll get something for that later. Now, your nets and your .org, they don't typically sell for a lot.
Yeah.
So I would tend to, I had a bunch of USs and I just dropped them. Unless you've got something that makes sense for an org. First of all, Honda Odyssey, be careful because you've got obviously a trademark there. So you want to avoid any possible trade. But for org, it could be like, I don't know, high school, Toronto High School Teachers.org. It could be anything, but it has to make sense for an org. Whereas SpanishWords.org, it doesn't really fit well. So you kind of want to narrow that down a bit to what you have. And the U.S. ones, like I said, don't even bother wasting your time on those. You've got some really gold here. Preschool webcam, that's interesting because parents always want to keep an eye on their kids when they're not in the classroom. Yeah. So I think that's a good idea too. And then you've got these other ones, Father's Day, Happy Easter. These are good to sell gifts. The problem is a lot of them are seasonal. So you have, like, I have one domain, what's it called? Like ChristmasSongs.com. It does, like, at Christmas time, from Thanksgiving to December, it does like a ton of revenue. The rest of the year, obviously, it doesn't do much, but as long as it makes what it's supposed to make during that time period, it's fine.
And you just do like AdSense? Is that how you make the money off that?
It makes money off, yeah, it definitely makes money off AdSense, and then there's downloads of different songs and different things that you can do, and then you can have Amazon links to some of the Christmas records and stuff like that. But a lot of this other stuff, I mean, these are all very seasonal, so you can definitely do something with these, like Valentine's Day. You probably got a good month from January 14th to February 14th till people are doing stuff. So you got some really good, ones there. And your homework wiki matches your homework directory, so it's good. I think you just got to fine tune what you have. You've got a huge amount of domains that you can build on and build some really good directories or websites or apartment sites with. I mean, these are some really good ones. Tucson is great. I mean, you've got a lot of Arizona names like Yuma and Tucson and quite a few. So, I mean, you've got some really good ones.
So, are there investors out there that would say, I'm interested in all the dot apartments, or I'll take all the dot directories, and at a discount. So instead of 15 or 20 grand a pop, we'll do them all, and it works out to 8,000 a pop, something like that.
Yeah, there's definitely investors out there for that. If you're looking to sell, I can try to help you find somebody who's interested in something like that.
Because I want to develop, I think I want to develop the apartments,
right,
and sell the directories, or vice versa. So I'd be open to either selling the whole directory as a package, or most of the directories as a package, and selling the apartments as a package. And then with those proceeds from either one, if I can get a couple $100,000 from one or either of those, then I would go back and build up the other one.
Yeah, you've got about 58 directories and about 30 of the apartment ones, 29 it looks like.
Yeah.
So, I mean, your apartment ones obviously are really strong because you can't get anything but Rochester apartments if you're selling apartments in Rochester. I would tend to sell the directory ones and keep the apartment ones.
Yeah.
Only because the apartment ones can give you residual revenue every month. So you don't want to give that up. The directory, like if you get a commission on an apartment lease, it'll be very high compared to what you would get if you put some sort of a golf course in a directory, which may earn you like $10 or something like that, or $20.
Yeah.
So that's the only difference. But these names are all very strong. A lot of these should be easier to sell based on the fact that they're like daycare directory. I mean, that's a real premium name for directory. Same with dentistry. And there's some really good ones. Chiropractor is another good one. Any name that people are going to try to find out some information on before they go, or find out if it's a good doctor, if it's a good chiropractor, it's a good name. So it's hard to say. You'll have to ultimately make the decision, but there are some in here that are worth quite a bit more than others. Wedding directory, huge. And wedding directory could have everything from bands to caterers. You can have everything in there. I'm working with Rick on another site. We're trying to get a guy to develop that. These wedding sites that lead into so much more than just gowns and stuff like that, or those are huge for developing out. Huge business opportunities. Because it leads to so much more. Yeah, you've definitely got some good ones. And you definitely, if that's what you're thinking of doing, you can also pick and choose which ones of the directories in the apartments you want to keep yourself and just sell the rest.
Right.
So if you want to keep some directories and you don't want to keep Shakespeare directory, or you don't want to keep one of the apartment ones, you can consider dropping one of those as well. But
well, the one on the directory side, the three big ones that I really think are standalone 6-figure sites, or should be, of course, and then apartment.directory and mortgage.directory. Those are kind of the three. When you look at AdWords, how frequently they're searched and how much they pay and how competitive it is, those are the ones that maybe I would pull out of the group and you kind of buy separately.
Yeah, for example, obviously mortgage directory is going to have a lot more value than something like funeral directory or funeral home directory. Yeah. But there are quite a few good ones in here, though, that are really good. Even life coach is a good one, because everyone's looking these days for a life coach. It's obviously a big term. Anything where kids are involved, like OBGYN, nanny. I own housekeepers.com, and it gets good traffic. So nanny directory would be great for reviews on people. So you're getting somebody that's less likely to be abusive or not a good nanny. They've got good reviews. So
yeah,
even tutoring directory. There's some really good ones that you've picked here. So it should be interesting going through the portfolio here. But there's some really good names. I think there's a lot that are at least 5-figure names and up. So, but you may have to wait, like I said, that 3 to 5 years to cash that out. But you will cash it out based on these names. These are good names.
Okay, that's great feedback. Thank you.
And do you have any questions at all about anything in the portfolio?
No, I think the real thing was, and I've seen you talk about it, is getting feedback from somebody that you trust. Like, am I crazy? Because there's a certain point as I'm investing, and I'm into this 20 or 30 grand for this portfolio, where you go, am I nuts, or am I onto something kind of ahead of the curve?
In this case, I would say because I've seen a lot of people that invest in the wrong GTLDs. The ones that you're investing in with apartments, you'll get more than your 30 out of just the apartments. There's no question about it. And there's only 24, 29 of those. But you're definitely going to be profitable on the rest of the portfolio just from that. So, no, I don't think you've made any. Sure, we all have crap in our portfolios, like stuff like this biz stuff and things like that. We all have crap. We have to filter out all the time. But the bottom line is, I would say that 85 to 90% of this portfolio that you've assembled is really good. Even patent directory. Don't underestimate the value of that, and then setting up a place where people can actually register patents and go through a lawyer, and you make a commission off of that. Things like that are huge.
Yeah.
Huge. Huge. There's a lot of value. I think if you built out something like wedding directory, you get your 30K just out of that one if you build it out on a full-blown big site. So there's some really good ones in here. But what's going to take them to the next level, what's going to take them so in 3 to 5 years from now, you may sell them for 10 or 15 or 20,000 as opposed to 50 or 100 or 150 is the fact that you're actually going to build them out into businesses. Because when people go there and they see there's possible revenue coming in, they see a business. A website always has more value than a domain name, even if it's just perceived value.
Yeah, so in the short term, as far as selling some,
Yeah.
What's the best strategy? And I know you talked about outbound selling, identifying individual folks for individual domains. But if I were to sell in groups or kind of mini portfolios, is that showing up to NameCon and getting to know people?
It is, but you're never going to get anything close to what you want trying to sell these to domainers. Your best, well, I know it sounds a lot harder, but your best thing to do is to sell them outbound one at a time to people to real estate agents in Dayton. Now, what I can do for you is set up an email that you can send out to realtors, and we can try it in one city if you want, and see how it goes, and see what offers, and see what price you get for the first one, and then decide if you want to do it that way. But I mean, I'll write a well-crafted letter that'll make it a lot easier for you to sell these things.
So the hardcore domainers are going to want wholesale rates.
Very wholesale. I mean, they're thinking the same as you and I, and generally the hardcore domainers may not have the type of cash you're looking to get to invest in a portfolio like this, or they may not be able to wait 3 to 5 years. I mean, that's really the biggest issue.
So how about something like when you look at the dot guides, and we're talking about like what do we have for dot guides? Something like algebra dot guide,
right?
Or geometry dot guide.
Okay.
To develop that with like niche websites.
Yeah.
And I know there's 100 of them out there. There's 100 sites out there that do math homework for kids. But
yeah.
the thing that I'm thinking is once they're not going to change. 1 plus 1 is always going to equal 2. So once you build it, it's there forever.
Correct.
And now it's just about traffic acquisition, right?
Right. It's about building the brand, building the traffic, building the awareness that the site even exists, and then from there you'll get money. Obviously, you'll make money through AdSense or whatever. Plus, we'll also have study guides that we can put on there that people can pay like $20 and download as well, or $10, and you'll make money that way too. I mean, there's lots of different ways off of algebra. We can also link up to tutors. There's some sites that have online tutors that'll walk you through it online, and then you can just click a button and you get a percentage of that as well.
Well, no, and one of the things I was thinking about too was taking the tutor.directory or tutoring.directory. I own both of those.
Yeah.
And cross-trafficking them to the homework sites, all the guides, all the homework type guides.
Yeah, you could do that. I mean, for now, that would be a really big project because you'd have to have like a grammar guide tied into an algebra, and you'd have to have a bunch of different ones there rather than just one homework guide that would be massive. And you could do it either way. I mean, I'm just trying to think of how you would. Ideally, you want to get them all indexed differently for their different names, so that people go to Geometry Guide when they're looking for geometry. You could build one big site on Homework Guide that has all those different parts into it as well.
Yeah. Well, good. No, this is good feedback, and I think just making the connection with you and then taking a little bit longer, because what I'm hearing is this is probably 3 years before you're going to make real big money as far as flipping the ones that don't get developed.
Yeah. Yeah, unless you're doing outbound marketing, and even then you're going to take a little less now than you would 3 years from now.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Still, I mean, you want to get your original investment back, so it's not a bad idea to flip until you get your original investment back. Maybe sell a couple, and then go from there. But ideally, you want to keep doing what you're doing, like you did with that. I think it's Dentist Directory or something. I mean, it's a good looking site. Yeah.
Okay. No, I appreciate the feedback. This is great.
No problem. And if you have any other questions, reach out anytime. You have my Skype now, so feel free. It's adam.digger. Feel free just to reach out anytime.
Perfect.
All right. It was a pleasure meeting you, and I hope we talk again soon, Mark.
All right, Adam. Thank you. Thanks, Rick, for putting this together.